Welcome, you ARES operators. Today's a special episode, especially for you Wii Generation 3 G Series users. I decided to get the SR Union kit from e-Vike. I used their special Airsoft Con 25% off. So I was able to get a FDE for the Carbine kit, for SR Union Carbine kit for $99. Now, to make this quick, they say it's a 3D printed plastic. Obviously, it looks like it is a 3D printed ABS plastic carbine, and the black rail looks like it's a fiberglass type kind of material, and it's actually fairly light. Now, let's look at what it comes with quickly. It does come with, obviously, with the Carbine kit. It gives you the warning papers, the instructions to how to put it together, but it's rather a simplistic instruction, so therefore it kind of relies on you to know how to disassemble a G series Glock. So there's other YouTube videos that do tell you how to put it together. If I was going to do in this episode, it'd get a little bit long, so just remember to look up for Wii G Series disassembly, so you could put this carbine together. But just be careful, there is also two parts that come with the kit. It affects the trigger and the mag lock. So there are two items you have to be careful on how you assemble this. Now, generally, if you know how to disassemble Wii G Series, this is pretty easy of a kit to put together, because you're going to be using all your lower parts into this carbine, but you'll be keeping the slide. Now, on this episode, what I decided to do is make it more interesting, that what happens if we decide to use a Wii G Series split slides. The reason why I like it is because the barrel is fixed and the front half of the slide is also fixed. Now, this brings up the issue of, well, how am I going to bolt down the screws of the front slide into this carbine kit? Surprisingly about this is when I actually try to screw it in, the thread locking screws actually kind of bite on the inner sides of this carbine kit. So it really actually attaches itself to the kit that you actually don't even need to drill. Now, how long it's really going to last, I don't know. I really haven't tried it out for a full game. Only shot roughly 300 rounds through this, so, and the front still appears to be staying on. So, surprisingly, no drilling is required. But for you people who's going to do this and attempt this, you'll notice that the thread locking screw is only grabbing hold inside the carbine kit and not making an actual hole to bolt down the front. Now, with that aside, as you can see, I completely put it together. Let's go over the pros and cons of doing such a project like this. Well, I mean, for the pros, it looks cool. When putting this whole project together, actually, all the Wii G Series Glock fit in pretty nice and tight, actually. It's not overly tight that you can't put the stuff in, but surprisingly, it went in fairly easy. Now, if you try to weigh this with all your red dots, lights, accessory, and everything you see here, and with the full 50 round mag, you'll find out that this pistol's total weight is going to weigh roughly 54 ounces. Off the top of my head, I think it weighs 33 ounces without the mag and light, but by the time you put in the mag, the 50 round mag, which weighs 16 ounces, and a light, which is another 4 ounces, you're going to come up with 54 ounces. So that comes out roughly 3.5 pounds, which is roughly pretty competitive for most carbine AEGs and GBBs out there. So if you guys worry about weight, let me see what else about what I like about it. It allows you to use a red dot, like I said earlier. It's a folding stock, so it kind of gives you a better stability. Surprisingly, it's pretty easy to use. It's not floppy or anything like that. It actually stays in nice and tight. But however, you got to remember, this is a 3D printed carbine kit, so it's really made out of ABS plastic. So How durable it's going to last is, it's probably going to be more a question how many times you run into things. Let me see, I'm trying to look through down my notes. Oh, if I was going to compare the maintenance between using, if you guys are a KWA KMP9 user, I probably would like the maintenance on this a little bit easier because it's easier to work on Wii GBB G series than really trying to take apart a KWA KMP9. The FPS I was able to get out of this is no surprise. You got to remember, this particular split slide I'm using a 601 97 millimeter barrel with, I believe, a maple leaf 75-degree bucking. So I'm getting roughly FPS of about 300, 305 FPS on a 25 gram BB. So it's pretty respectable. The accuracy, I was able to get pretty decent accuracy. I mean, the things you see here, it's about 50 feet with using Crytek 25 gram BBs. It shoots about roughly between 2.5, 3.5 inch groupings, which is pretty good at 50 feet. And as always expected from Wii, you're gonna get about roughly a 5-inch flyer when you're firing X amount of rounds. So just be aware of that. But it's still reasonable to play on a CQB environment. Now, some of the cons playing with this Carbine kit, the magazine well starts out tight. So you really have to you probably have to do like about, maybe do 50 or 100 mag changes, like even could do a dry run of it to just kind of wear in the magazine well, that the magazine would come out easier. You have to remember that once you put this whole particular model together, or this Carbine kit together, is that you're gonna lose the Glock safety trigger mechanism. So really, this whole Carbine kit has no safety on it. So be aware, keep your finger off the trigger. If you decide to use like a TRL1 flashlight, you only have probably one mount up in front, and when you try to play with it, you might find that it's an awkward position to use that kind of light, but it's still doable. And because I have a lot of Wii G17 Gen 3 series, I know it'll work on this particular Carbine kit. But you people who have the Gen 4 G series, it'll probably still work. But like I said, I can't say for sure. But here it is, you guys. For you people wondering if you could put a Wii G series split slide on the Carbine kit, you actually can. But just be aware, those threading screws on the front are pretty much holding that front side together. But for some reason, it does a pretty good job that it's not actually loose. It actually bites in pretty well. So that's if you guys really want to try such a task. It's up to you guys. So there is my quick project that I was putting together, the SR Union GBB. Wii split slide GBB. It can be done. You could also use regular G17s, or you could use G18s. But to be honest, using full auto on G18s for the G series, they're really not that great in accuracy. So there you go. For you people who love accuracy, love to play CQB GBBs, it can be done.